Have you ever looked into your pet's eyes and felt something looking back at you that was more than just an animal? That moment of recognition is not your imagination. Animal communication is real, and it goes far deeper than people realize. When most people hear animal communication, they think of dog training, commands, treats, behavioral cues. But that's not what we're exploring here. What if your pet chose you? What if the bond you share didn't begin when you brought them home, but long before, in a space beyond time and physical form? What if the animals in our lives are not random companions, but conscious beings with soul histories as rich as our own, here with purpose and intention? That's the conversation we're having today. And before you dismiss that as too mystical, let's start with what science already knows. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake spent years documenting cases of dogs who knew when their owners were coming home. Not through routine or sound cues, but through what appeared to be genuine telepathic connection. His controlled studies filmed dogs moving to the door at the exact moment their owners decided to return, regardless of time or transport method. Elephants communicate through infrasound, frequencies so low the human ear can't detect them, across distances of several miles. They coordinate complex social behavior, warn each other of danger, and grieve their dead with unmistakable emotional depth. And dolphins, perhaps the most compelling example of all. They don't just communicate within their own pods, they show empathy toward other species, including humans. They've been documented protecting swimmers from sharks, guiding lost whales to open water, and forming bonds that go beyond anything instinct alone can explain. But here's where the conversation gets even bigger. Because what we're really talking about isn't just animal communication, it's interspecies communication. Consciousness recognizing itself across different forms of life. In forests, trees share nutrients and warning signals through underground fungal networks called mycelium, connecting individual trees into something that works like a collective nervous system. The forest is in constant conversation, silently, invisibly, in ways science is only beginning to understand. The evidence is already there. Animals communicate, constantly, in ways we're only beginning to measure. But the science is just the doorway. Here's what consciousness research and ancient wisdom traditions across every culture consistently point toward. Animals don't carry the veil of forgetfulness that humans do. When we arrive here as humans, we forget. We forget our soul origin, our purpose, our connection to the larger field of consciousness. That forgetting is part of the human experience. The challenge and the journey of remembering who we are. Animals don't arrive with that veil. They come connected, and they stay connected. They know what they are. And here's something even more profound. They are not lesser beings having a simpler experience. They are source, just as you are source. They simply chose a different form of expression. You chose a human experience. They chose an animal experience. Neither is superior. Neither is inferior. Both are consciousness exploring itself. And many of these souls have lived as humans before. Some of your pets may have shared previous incarnations with you, which is why that look sometimes stops you. That moment where you look into your dog's eyes and something ancient and familiar looks back. Animals come into our lives with soul contracts. Their primary purpose when they incarnate alongside humans is often to support our growth, mirror our emotional state, help us heal, and anchor us to the present moment. They are teachers in fur, and they chose this role consciously. Which raises an obvious question. If animals carry all of this wisdom, if they arrive connected to consciousness itself, why do they still act like animals? Why does your dog lose its mind at the doorbell? Why does your cat knock things off tables for no reason? Because they're bound by their physical avatar, just like we are. You might genuinely know your eternal consciousness in human form, until a spider drops onto your shoulder and you jump and scream louder than you'd like to admit. Your nervous system reacts before your wisdom catches up. That's not a failure of awakening. That's what it means to be in a body. Animals experience the same dynamic. The soul knows. The creature runs on instinct. Both are real simultaneously. Your dog is ancient wisdom in a golden retriever suit, still barking at squirrels. Both things completely true. So if this communication is real, why do even gifted practitioners sometimes get things wrong? Because receiving information is always filtered through the receiver. Animal communication involves translating energetic impressions into human language. The animal's message arrives as feeling, image, knowing, and the communicator interprets that through their own framework and filters. They might be 90% accurate and 10% their own interpretation. That's the inherent challenge of translating between nonverbal consciousness and human language. The signal can be real, even when the translation is imperfect. And here's what matters. Nobody is closer to your pet's energy than you. Your own intuitive connection with them is valid. Trust it. What's emerging right now in our collective consciousness is a genuine remembering. Indigenous traditions across every continent have always known that animals are conscious, aware, and communicating in ways that matter. We are simply remembering what was always true. Your animals already know you, more deeply than you realize. The question is, how open you are to receiving what they've been sending all along. But knowing this and actually experiencing it are two different things. So how do you begin? The truth is, you already are. You're already communicating with your animals constantly. The connection is happening whether you're aware of it or not. What changes with practice isn't the communication itself, it's your ability to notice it. The word telepathy may sound mystical, but what it describes is actually very natural. It's the direct transmission of feeling, image, or knowing from one consciousness to another, without words. Most humans have been conditioned to place telepathy in the category of science fiction or fantasy movies. But the idea itself is not as far-fetched as we've been taught to believe. There have been studies for decades exploring forms of nonverbal communication, especially between twins, children, close family members, and even humans and animals. Science still doesn't fully understand how these experiences happen, but enough evidence exists to suggest that consciousness is capable of connecting in ways we don't yet completely understand. And animals seem to operate through this kind of communication naturally. They don't think in words or sentences. They experience in images, sensations, emotions, and impressions. When your dog feels anxious, that anxiety radiates outward as an energetic field that other sensitive beings, including you, can pick up on. When you're sad, your cat often knows before you've shown any outward sign. You've probably experienced this without naming it. That sense of knowing your pet needs something before they show any obvious signal. The feeling that they're unwell before any symptoms appear. The moment you think about going for a walk and your dog is already at the door. That's not coincidence. That's communication. Signs your animal is already reaching you. Start noticing these moments rather than dismissing them. Your pet comes to you right before you feel emotional, before the tears, before the anxiety spike. They're responding to your energetic field, not your behavior. And the beautiful part is, you don't need special gifts to begin. You need presence and willingness. Sit quietly with your animal, with no agenda, not training, not playing, not working, just being together. Let your mind settle. Notice what images, feelings, or impressions arise. Don't analyze them immediately. Just receive them. When you want to communicate something to your pet, don't just say it out loud. Send the feeling and the image. If you want them to come to you, feel the warmth of them arriving. Picture it. Animals respond to the energetic transmission more than the words. Practice noticing without immediately explaining away what you receive. The rational mind is quick to dismiss impressions as imagination. The more you honor what comes through, the clearer the channel becomes. The longer you share life with an animal, the more attuned you become to each other's frequency. Longtime pet owners often develop what looks like an almost psychic connection with their animals, knowing needs before they're expressed. That's not projection. That's a genuine energetic bond built through years of shared presence and attention. Your animals chose to share this experience with you. That choice came with intention. The communication was always part of the agreement. You don't have to learn how to connect with them. You just have to remember that you already are. If something in this transmission activated something inside you, follow that thread. This isn't entertainment. It's a key, a frequency, not to distract you, but to wake you. If it resonated with you, like, subscribe, and share your experience in the comments. Your voice creates ripples. Your story matters. Let others know they're not imagining things. They're waking up.